Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXP and today is the 10th of Jan 2023. Now the global cryptocurrency market is looking on a positive trend and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens towards the midweek, especially towards the end of this week, because there's a lot of rumors going on that Jerome Powell might be releasing the inflation numbers and that might most likely happen on the 12th of this month. Now will that have an impact on the price of global cryptocurrencies? I definitely do think so. Now what has happened in the last 24 hours? Shiba Inu has burnt quite a lot of its coins, over 1000%, and we'll very briefly talk about that. Now listen guys, I do feel this burning mechanism could be an absolute game changer, even for central bank digital currencies. Now one way central bank digital currencies could cleverly manage inflation is by reducing the supply, and this is the power of London hard fork which was implemented in Ethereum, so we'll very briefly talk about that. Now in today's episode, we're also going to be talking about Binance, and they have joined the Association of Certified Sanctions Specialists. Now, I definitely do think that this is a brilliant move. It just shows that Binance are definitely looking to protect their customers. Now, regarding the legend Sam Bankman-Fried, we have another update. This is definitely not good, because looks like Sam Bankman-Fried is fighting for his shares, which is to do with Robinhood. And we'll also talk about the drama that is going on in relation to that, and where BlockFi also kicks in. So Sam Bankman-Fried definitely has the audacity to go out and work for his protection and pay for his criminal defense, whereas his customers who have lost the funds might be facing a terrible economic loss. Now in today's episode, we also have some update regarding the mining industry. Now look guys, to be honest, there are two ways of looking at it. The one way of looking at it, that the update is positive and great, and the second way of looking at it is that there might be a monopoly which will be formed in the Bitcoin mining industry. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news. Now regarding UAE, I have two news, and the first news is regarding DMCC, or Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. And the news that is circulating all across the world in the cryptocurrency sphere is that they have achieved new member company registrations in 2022, but this is only because of cryptocurrency. Now DMCC has a crypto center, and as of 2023, they're home to over 500 companies. So I'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. Now the second news that I'm going to be discussing is regarding fake news, and I'm going to be sharing my opinions and thoughts on how to identify fake news versus legitimate news. And one of the reasons why I decided to mention this in my podcast today is because earlier today, while I was surfing through LinkedIn, I did see a very powerful fake news, and this was something which I did cover in my podcast yesterday. And surprisingly, this was published by one of the well-known people in the cryptocurrency spheres. So I did reply in the LinkedIn post stating that this necessarily may not be a legitimate news. And after a few hours, he did actually delete that post. So what I'm going to be doing is, in today's podcast, I'm going to be sharing my opinions and thoughts on how to identify fake news and legitimate news. Because look guys, we live in a world where having a lot of information is not important, but getting information from the first source is. And Ray Dalio, one of the legends in the fintech space, has often said that mainstream media is making it extremely difficult to go out and get information from first source. And one of the greatest presidents of all time, Donald Trump, has often called out mainstream media as fake news. So we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that in today's episode. So let's kickstart today's episode. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as we kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE, and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8 and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE, and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE, and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE, and Middle East region. Now, before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly, guys, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race, and Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's look at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, since the last 24 hours, the global cryptocurrency market has marginally gone down by 0.01%. It is currently at $846.92 billion, and the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $42.25 billion. Now, since the last 24 hours, though, it is up by 46.75%. The total volume in DeFi is on an uptrend in 2023. Now, this is nothing to boast about because the volume is still ridiculously low. It is at $3.44 billion, but in 2023, it started off with $1 billion, $1.5 billion, and hopefully this trend continues in 2023. Because look, guys, when you talk about cryptocurrencies, DeFi ideally should be heading the cryptocurrency space, but unfortunately, DeFi as of today accounts for only 8.15% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and the total value locked is $39.55 billion, and Lido is clearly dominating with 15.96%. Now look guys, in 2021 and 2022, MakerDAO was dominating the total value locked, but since December, Lido did dominate the total value locked only on 2 days, but in January of 2023, Lido is dominating, and as of today, $6.53 billion is locked in its protocol. Now look guys, when cryptocurrencies become mainstream and the usage of DeFi does become mainstream, total value locked should be off the roof. I'm literally talking about 500 or maybe $600 billion. Now this thing might happen, and it just might take a couple of decades. Now, so as of today, Lido is dominating, followed by MakerDAO, and as of today, $6.44 billion is locked in its protocol, Aave at $4 billion, Core Finance at $3.85 billion, and finally Uniswap at $3.43 billion. Now with Metaverse gaining momentum in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years down the line, I wouldn't be surprised if there are certain DeFi protocols which are catered or only exist in the Metaverse. What are your thoughts, guys? Mention them in the comments below, which would essentially mean that in order to log into your private key or public key, you cannot log into your computer, but you'll have to directly log in using, let's say, your virtual reality headset, your augmented reality headset or mixed reality headset. Absolutely nothing to do with mobile phone and laptop technologies. But this is possible probably 3 to 5 years down the line, and there might be new DeFi protocols that are catered only to the Metaverse. It may also term it as MetaFi or Metaverse Finance. Now let's talk about stablecoins, because stablecoins is definitely dominating the cryptocurrency world, and as of today it accounts for 92.71% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and the volume is $38.85 billion. Now look guys, since the second half of 2022, the volume of stablecoins has been ridiculously low. Now in 2020, 2021 and 2022, on an average given day, the volume of stablecoins used to hover at least somewhere between $80 to $120 billion mark. The numbers right now are absolutely terrible, and Tether USDT accounts for $28.72 billion, followed by Circle USDC at $3.24 billion, and Binance USD at $6.65 billion. Now let's discuss the market share, the 24-hour trading volume between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's market share surprisingly not moved at all. It is still the same at $331.3 billion. Ethereum is also the same at $161 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is at $16.8 billion and Ethereum is at $7.03 billion. And the dominance is once again pretty much the same at 39.91% and 19.10% for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now let's look at the smart contracting platform. Now since the last 24 hours, there has been some marginal changes. Ethereum is still clearly an outlier, and the market cap is $162 billion, followed by Binance BNB at $43.64 billion. Now look guys, one worrisome thing that I'm noticing about Binance BNB is the 24-hour volume is ridiculously low. Now it is possible that the users are required to use the Binance USD, and that's one of the reasons why the volume of Binance BNB is low, but even then, it is a ridiculously low volume considering the fact that the market cap is $43.64 billion. And something which I did mention in my podcast a few days ago, I'm just hoping that we don't find out that there is some notorious activity going on in order to maintain the price of Binance BNB. So let's try to see how things turn out to be. Now Cardano is at $10.76 billion, Solana is at $5.85 billion, and finally Polkadot is at $5.78 billion. Now look guys, today the talk is all about meme coins, and Shiba Inu, one of the kings of meme coin, they had a burn rate of 1,395.89%. This is absolutely brilliant. So essentially what happens is, when you talk about burning, it just means that there will be less coins in the market. And this goes back to the basics of demand versus supply. Less supply equals to more demand. So just to give you a very basic level understanding of how burning mechanism works, essentially the protocol sends X number of cryptocurrencies to a wallet that does not have a private key. So in a way, it is completely taken off from the supply. Now if that thing happens, the supply gets reduced and the demand increases. And guys, this happened because of Ethereum. So Ethereum did have a London fork upgrade, because of which the supply is cleverly managed. Now listen guys, central bank digital currencies and central banks all over the world can burn the crypto that they are creating as well. This would cleverly manage inflation. It will also help in maintaining a clean CBDC. So let's say if central bank digital currencies do identify that their CBDC was used for notorious activity, maybe for prostitution, maybe for child pornography, or maybe for something else, what they can do is these cryptos, they can go ahead and send it to a public address that does not have a private key, which means it is essentially taken out completely from the cryptocurrency world. So brilliant use case of burning. But if you look at the basics, essentially what that means is when you burn any cryptocurrency, it is taken out from the supply, because of which there is more demand. And NewsBTC has published an article that data from SHIB burning tracksite SHIB burn did actually state that 37,400,646 SHIB have been burned in the last 24 hours, and this has accounted for a burn rate of 1,395.89%. Absolutely brilliant. Now, apart from that, Daily Coin has also reported a positive news regarding Shiba Inu, and they have stated that Shiba Inu might soon be featured on top luxury fashion handbags, and this is done with a collaboration between a Canadian and luxury manufacturer, the Bugatti Group. Now go to the Twitter profile of Shiba token and also a Bugatti token, because they've actually put up pictures of the luggage with the Shiba Inu token. So absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, could it be possible that Shiba Inu is the king of all meme coins? I definitely do think so. But look guys, when you talk about Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, I do prefer Shiba Inu. They definitely have much more better technical specifications, and the use case is definitely much better than Dogecoin. Now guys, let's talk about Binance. And the news that is circulating is that Binance has joined the Association of Certified Sanctions Specialists. Now this, I do believe, is a brilliant move. What it essentially means is that all compliance specialists on Binance sanctions teams, as well as the money laundering reporting, compliance operations, and special investigations lead, will be required to undergo training with the ACSS, that is the Association of Certified Sanctions Specialists. But when you talk about a cryptocurrency exchange, this is an absolutely brilliant move. But when you talk about blockchain at a protocol level, ideally you would not want someone to be trained in these things, because open blockchain protocols do talk about being censorship resistant, borderless, and quite a lot more. But this move for a cryptocurrency exchange is absolutely brilliant, because Binance will be equipped with the latest guidelines, which is issued by the US Department of Treasury, or OFAC. Now look guys, when you talk about Ethereum, 60% of the blocks are OFAC compliant. So when you talk about a protocol level, this is definitely not great. But let's say when you talk about a centralized cryptocurrency exchange, this move by Binance is absolutely brilliant. Now guys, let's talk about some drama. And this drama is going on between BlockFi, FTX, and Sam Bankman-Fried. Now when you talk about FTX, I'm talking about the new FTX management, not the one which was managed by the legend Sam Bankman-Fried. So Sam Bankman-Fried did actually put out this thing via Twitter that he's fighting for his rights, and this is to do with Robinhood shares. So the former CEO is fighting for the rights to Robinhood shares, and what he's actually saying is that he needs them more than FTX customers who only suffered the possibility of economic loss. What kind of a terrible statement done by him. Now he's attempting to gain access to the Robinhood shares worth over $460 million. Now the reason what he's saying is that he needs to pay them for his criminal defense, stressing that without them the consequences would be serious and irreparable. Now if you look at it from a legal point of view, as of now Sam Bankman-Fried has pleaded not guilty, so technically or legally he should probably have these shares. But what I particularly did not like is that he's actually stating that the FTX customers on the other hand face only the possibility of economic loss. Now you need to remember that Sam Bankman-Fried is not thinking about the lifelong earnings that people have lost because of Sam Bankman-Fried. All this information is given by Sam Bankman-Fried, and it is mentioned directly to the court, and Sam Bankman-Fried has argued that the Robinhood shares in dispute are not owned by Almeida Research or any other entities implicated in the FTX bankruptcy. Instead, what Sam Bankman-Fried is saying that they are owned by Emergent Fidelity Technology Limited, and apparently Sam Bankman-Fried owns 90% of Emergent Fidelity Technology, and according to the court filings, Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Wong and other FTX executives borrowed the funds from Alameda for Emergent to purchase Robinhood shares. Now, what are your thoughts, guys? If you look at it from a legal point of view, technically the shares do belong to Sam Bankman-Fried, but given the circumstances, I definitely disagree that he should be given the funds. Now, let me try to explain where BlockFi fits into this, because the United States Department of Justice had officially notified the court handling the bankruptcy of BlockFi that it had seized assets as part of the criminal cases against cryptocurrency exchange FTX and its executives, and in a filing on the 6th of Jan, the Justice Department said that it had seized 55,273,469 shares of Robinhood, to which Sam Bankman-Fried, BlockFi, and FTX creditor Jonathan Benjamin had previously made claims, and the stocks were worth more than $450 million as of 6th of Jan. Now, the Department of Justice did actually state that they had also taken control of more than $20 million in US currency from the brokerage firm ED&F Man Capital Markets, so definitely not ideal for FTX customers. And guys, report from 4th of Jan has suggested that the Justice Department was in the process of seizing Robinhood shares as part of the case against FTX. But Sam Bankman-Fried's legal team confirmed on the 5th of Jan that the Department of Justice had moved forward with seizing the shares, and still argued that the former CEO and the legend Sam Bankman-Fried had claims to the assets to pay for the criminal defense. Now, unfortunately, if you look at the legal loopholes, I do personally believe that Sam Bankman-Fried should actually be getting the shares. Now, should that thing happen, I definitely don't think so. But knowing the notorious history of his left-leaning donations and his associations with political party, I definitely do feel that Sam Bankman-Fried might just be getting his way. Now, guys, let's talk about some update regarding the mining industry. Now, look, guys, there are two ways of looking at it. As of now, the mining industry is not doing good at all, and this is because of the falling prices of Bitcoin. But one way of looking at it is there are some companies that are heavily benefited in the mining industry, and the data that I'm going to be talking about is in the month of December. The second way of looking at it is it could be possible in the next coming months or years, these companies could form a monopoly and take out the competition altogether. Now, look, guys, if you're someone who's working into the mining industry and want to take over the mining industry, the time is now. So let me give out 3 companies that did actually have a positive impact in the mining industry. And TeraWulf did actually state on Monday that it mined 125 bitcoins in December, bringing its Q4 total production to 378 bitcoin, which is an up of 223% compared to quarter 3, and the shares of the cryptocurrency miners rose by 2.9%. Hut Mining's Bitcoin reserve grew by 65% year-on-year in 2022. It increased its Bitcoin to USD holdings by 161 in December of 2022, bringing its total self-mined holdings in 2022 to 9,086 Bitcoins, a 65% increase over the balance at the end of 2021. So both of these companies looks like they did have a positive year-end in 2022, and an average production rate for them was approximately 5.2 Bitcoins per day, with 100% of the Bitcoin mined added to the balance sheet. Now listen, guys, if you do want to get information about this, Seeking Alpha has published quite a lot of articles, and the third one is a Canadian Bitcoin mining company called Hive, and Hive Blockchain Technologies earned $3.15 million, or the equivalent of 184 Bitcoins, by curtailing its power use in December, whereas it mined 213.8 Bitcoins for the month of December. One thing which I do want to share regarding the Bitcoin mining industry, often I see on LinkedIn posts and also at events that some of the guys are actually boasting that they have quite a lot of hash power in the Bitcoin mining industry. Now, initially, I really wasn't sure if this is a good thing and if they are experts in the Bitcoin mining industry, but after speaking to them, I did actually find out that these guys do not have absolutely any experience in the Bitcoin mining industry. Now, the fact that they are boasting of having a massive hash power is definitely not ideal. It does talk about the centralization of the Bitcoin mining industry, so it is definitely not good. If you are an expert in the Bitcoin mining industry and if you're boasting about the high hash rate, you might be doing that to get more funds from investors, possibly from hedge fund companies and venture capitals. But if you look at it from a protocol level, having the hash rate in a centralized location is definitely not ideal. Now guys, let's move on to two news regarding UAE. And the first news is regarding DMCC, that is Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. And the official news is published by the government agency called as Emirates News Agency. And the website is ram.ae, that is W for water, A for alpha, M for mother.ae. Now DMCC, that is Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, is the world's flagship free zone and Government of Dubai Authority on Commodities, Trades and Enterprise, and they announced that it achieved its best ever year for new member company registration, attracting 3,049 new businesses in Dubai in 2022. This news, guys, is circulating all over the world in the cryptocurrency sphere because they did have an increase of 23% year on year, and it broke the previous record set in 2021 when DMCC registered 2,485 new members. Pretty much sure, guys, in 2021, I definitely covered about this news when they set a new benchmark. So go back to my podcast dating back to 2021. I'm 100% sure I did actually cover this news. Now, the record growth was driven by prominent international demand, DMCC's continued work within key commodity sectors, and the growing demand from blockchain and Web3 businesses for space at DMCC's crypto center, to the extent that the crypto center is now home to over 500 companies, and a lot of the crypto influencers are definitely talking about this. Coin Bureau, one of the leading YouTube channels, has also moved into Dubai, and a lot of the top companies right now are currently working with DMCC. Now, going back to the news, each of these areas was underpinned by Dubai Multi-Commodity Center's commitment to increasing the ease of setting up and doing business in Dubai. So definitely brilliant news. Now look, guys, if you're into the cryptocurrency space, Web 3.0 space or blockchain sector, you definitely need to look up Dubai Multi-Commodity Center and its crypto center. Now, as blockchain and Web3 technologies create increasingly positive impact and social impacts across all sectors and industries, the DMCC Crypto Center has seen its community grow rapidly over 2022 and now is home to 500 members, and it represents the largest concentration of crypto and blockchain companies in the region. And DMCC Crypto Center has also partnered with global venture capital firm Brink, and in this partnership they want to provide its members with access to $150 million accelerator fund. So listen, guys, go to Brink, which is spelled as B for Bravo, R for Roger, I for India, N for November, C for Charlie, because Brink is a portfolio company of Amico Brands, a global leader in Web3 and blockchain investment. And I did cover about the partnership news, I believe it was in the month of November. I've also sent an email to one of the managing directors for Brink, so definitely hope to have a podcast session with them where I can go ahead and explain more information about the $100 million accelerator fund. Now, this major partnership supports the long-term and rapid growth of companies that develop Web3 and blockchain technologies and associated value-added services. So listen, guys, go to the news because DMCC, they've also developed another partnership, and they drive to add value at the intersection of technologies and commodities. And DMCC had also partnered with SafeGold and Comtech Gold to tokenize gold bars based in UAE facilities. And how that will work is each gold bar will be backed by a DMCC trade for warrant, meaning that the increased ease of trading a tokenized asset is combined with additional security, transparency, and real asset allocation provided by trade flow warrant. Now look, guys, in my Crypto and Coffee at 8, I definitely covered both of the news, and both of the news are definitely brilliant news, particularly when you talk about blockchain use cases. And the CEO of DMCC, that is Ahmed bin Suleiman, and he actually said on this news, backed by a strong regional macroeconomic landscape, DMCC has been efficiently accelerating its growth strategy throughout 2022, focusing on supporting its member companies in high-impact sectors such as Web3 and blockchain technologies, commodities, and global trade. He further added, I often view our member company registrations as a barometer for the commercial and FDI activity in Dubai. These record high numbers demonstrate burgeoning investor confidence in the emirate and the growing number of opportunities that Dubai presents. So definitely brilliant stuff. And I'd really urge you guys to follow Ahmad bin Suleiman via LinkedIn because he's really active on LinkedIn and I really like some of his posts. And Farial Ahmadi, who's the COO of DMCC, commented, increasing our annual company registrations by 23% sets a new baseline for DMCC. With a number of exciting new projects in pipeline and the unwavering dedication of the entire DMCC team, I am confident that we can carry this momentum forward in 2023. Next year, we will see DMCC built on its position of strength by further enhancing its services and offerings and forging new partnerships across the global, all with the ultimate aim of driving new trade flows to Dubai. So definitely brilliant stuff. Then look guys, there are quite a lot of companies who have recently moved to Dubai. Now this is great, but as of the moment, Dubai is turning out to be a red ocean, which means there's too much of competition. But from a customer's point of view, it essentially means three things. It means cheaper products, better quality, and faster service time. So if you look at it from a time cost quality point of view, from a customer's point of view, it's absolutely brilliant. But from a business point of view, you definitely need to have a competitive advantage. Because right now, Dubai, in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0 and metaverse, is definitely a red ocean. Now guys, let's talk about the second news for today. And I wanted to share my opinions and thoughts on how to identify fake news versus legitimate news. And this is so relevant, particularly when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Look guys, there was an article which was published that states that BlackRock is investing $15 trillion into Bitcoin. 100% fake news, at least for now. If you want to find out more information about that, check out my podcast for yesterday, because one of the listeners did actually ask this question and I gave my reasoning as to why that is fake news, at least for now. Could it be possible that it might be legitimate news? Most likely yes, or most likely no. So when you're looking at any information guys, particularly in the world of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, Web 3.0, blockchain or metaverse, make sure you look at information from the first source. Now listen guys, we live in a world where having loads of information is not important. Having information from first source is. Now Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States of America, was 100% right when he talked about mainstream media categorized as fake news. Because to be honest, 90% of the news that you read, particularly in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, is 100% fake news. Just because you're reading information does not make it true. So what is it that you can do in order to get legitimate news? And the answer is pretty simple guys. You need to look at information from first source. Now what I mean by first source, now let's say guys, if you see any particular protocol stating that they're implementing a new strategy, you just can't take a word of any mainstream media that also talks about Coinbase, Cointelegraph, NewsBTC or Bitcoin.com. What we as individuals need to do is we need to become journalists and we need to look at the first source of information. So what are the first source of information? The official Twitter account is the first source of information. If there is an organization or an association backing a particular protocol, if it is mentioned in that becomes a first source of information. When you talk about, let's say, any particular person saying something about cryptocurrency or blockchain or investing in case of BlackRock, it's so critical that you actually see the official Twitter account of that particular person or the company and then make your own judgment. Often we see that there was an interview and 99% of the time guys, these videos are 100% edited. A classic example which I often give in my podcast is there was this talk about Apple getting into cryptocurrencies. Now, I did mention in my podcast when the news was announced that this is 100% fake news. So essentially what happened is that Tim Cook, who is the CEO of Apple, did have an interview. I think it was one of the guys on CNN. And the interview was roughly for around 20 minutes. After the interview was over, the interviewer asked Tim Cook, what are your thoughts on cryptocurrencies? And what Tim Cook actually said, that he actually likes cryptocurrencies, but he's definitely going to make sure that Apple customers with no way or in any form will be allowed to use Apple devices to get into cryptocurrencies. That was the actual news. But what mainstream media did, they took only the first part, that Tim Cook likes cryptocurrency, and then they started making their own news. People started saying that Apple is investing $3 billion, the $200 billion or $300 billion of its cash into buying Bitcoin and quite a lot more. And because of that, believe it or not, the price of cryptocurrencies did actually pump, particularly for Bitcoin, by 4%. And Bitcoin Magazine, which used to be one of my favorite magazines, is also lately providing a lot of fake news and incorrect information. One example that I can think of is, and this is to do with Dubai. So there is a chain of outlets called as Day to Day. They actually published in the website and via the first news of information that they are going to be accepting all cryptocurrencies. But what Bitcoin Magazine did, they actually mentioned that Day to Day from Dubai, a retail outlet, is accepting only Bitcoin. This is not correct information. What I did actually go to the Day to Day website, and if you go through the payment options, they accept all cryptocurrencies, but at that particular day, they could not accept Bitcoin. This is another classic use case of fake news or incorrect news. And what we need to do is, guys, we need to make sure that we need to look at information from the first source. And look, guys, some of the official source for looking at first source is directly via Twitter. Read through the official blogs. If you follow my LinkedIn profile, I often give official blogs, or I tend to give source of the mainstream media that is publishing it. You need to look at official source either by a website, even by Discord. Quite a lot of information is available via Discord, or you also need to look at interviews and podcasts. But one thing really to remember, guys, make sure that you listen to the entire interview and try to understand in which context it is said. Most often mainstream media cherry picks information, and this thing is taken out of context. A classic example which I mentioned is about Apple. Another example that I'd like to give, and I don't recollect the name of the company, what they mentioned in their official blog post, what they do like the blockchain industry, but they are definitely not getting into the industry. Now, this company was working in the real estate industry. What mainstream media did, they only took the first part that they do like the blockchain industry. Then they started adding their own narrative that that particular company is investing heavily in real estate and blockchain industry, which is 100% exactly opposite of what they wanted to say. So what I really recommend you to do is, guys, when you're looking at any information, including mine, make sure you do your own research. Always look at information from first source. And one thing, guys, which I often say is, we live in a world where having loads of information is not important. Having information from first source is. And if you're stuck with absolutely any piece of information, you can also drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee 88 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And also check out my website, www.blockchaindxb.com. And also check out my website, area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now, for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Nishant who asks, are there any blockchain catered only to the sporting industry? Now, unfortunately, Nishant, what you truly need to understand, you cannot have a blockchain catered only to a specific industry, because if you have a blockchain catered to a specific industry, it just means that there is some centralized decision making going on that is forcing you to use that protocol only in a specific industry. So when you hear of any blockchain protocol stating that we are focusing, let's say, only on supply chain, or any blockchain protocol stating that we are focusing only on NFTs, it just means one thing at the back end, that there is a very centralized entity making the centralized decision. Now, in case of a sporting industry, to be honest, Nishant, I really do not see much use case of blockchain technology beyond Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, but if you truly understand the blockchain trilemma problem, which I've been saying since a very long time, that is security, decentralization, and scalability, we need to go ahead and make sure these protocols do not compromise in absolutely anything. Now, unfortunately, Nishant, any blockchain protocol that is promising that this is catering only to sporting industry are making a heavy centralized decision. Now, that thing being said, Nishant, it could be possible that a new blockchain protocol does actually come up, which is focusing or comes up with newer hashing algorithm, newer cryptography method, where they're able to either reduce the block size or increasing the block size depending on the sporting industry, providing they are not manipulating the blockchain trilemma problem. In that case, it could be possible that a blockchain protocol is catered only to the sporting industry. But as of now, Nishant, I really do not see any blockchain protocol that has the bandwidth to support sporting industry. Because you need to understand, when you talk about blockchain and sporting industry, the idea sounds great, but it does not work, at least from now. And based on my experience in the cryptocurrency space, I'm looking at least a decade from now where you can see those use cases. And the fact is, Nishant, there are very limited use case of blockchain technology beyond utilizing it for payment. And this is where Bitcoin kicks in. I really do not see any use case of blockchain technology. And what I tend to do, Nishant, is on a daily basis in my podcast, I also look at the 24-hour trading volume. And one thing which I probably am going to start doing pretty soon is I'm also going to be looking at the number of dApps, that is decentralized apps, and I'll just share the numbers as to how many users are actually using blockchain protocol. Now, this whole notion that we are still in the earlier stages, I 100% disagree to it. Because look, Nishant, I got into the cryptocurrency space in 2013, which is almost a decade. And at that point of time, we were told that we are still in the earlier stages of Bitcoin and blockchain. It is 2023, and people in LinkedIn are still often saying that we are still in the early stages of cryptocurrency and blockchain. And CZ did actually mention via Twitter that we are still in the earlier stages of blockchain. I 100% disagree to it. What CZ put out a video stated that we are still in the earlier stages, and the analogy he gave is that of a car. He just said that we are still at the engine stage and the other part still needs to be developed. I 100% disagree to it. And the fact is, Bitcoin is the only use case of blockchain, the whole smart contracting platform. I don't think so will work. But what I'm going to be doing is, and you gave me an idea, Nishant, most likely from the episode from tomorrow or next week onwards, I'll try to look at the number of dApps. So that'll give our listeners an understanding of what protocols are actually used in the blockchain world, as opposed to the promise of blockchain. Because if you look at it, not many people are using decentralized apps, or dApps as we like to call it, but nonetheless, definitely brilliant question. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Update from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.